right, well, I can't see many people this morning. Hopefully some of you will turn your cameras on. So I'm not gonna see you next week because of the holiday, which maybe is nice for you guys to have a break, although I know you have a lot of work to do between now and the end of the semester. So because I won't see you next week, we're gonna have 3 poses today. So it's gonna feel like a lot, but they're very similar, so hopefully it won't be too overwhelming for you guys for your assignment. So we're gonna go ahead and get started on your backs today so we can just get everything covered. So find a comfortable position on your back. As always, your knees can be bent or you can have your legs straight. Now just close your eyes. And since I won't see you next week, I thought it might be nice as we start class today, just to take a moment of gratitude. You guys have been practicing this all semester in your journals. But today I want you to think about something you do in your life often that makes you happy. So I know right now that might feel like it's hard to think of anything. It might be something as simple as your morning cup of coffee or tea, or maybe getting outside. So just take a moment to think about that one thing you do often that makes you happy. And as you think about that, notice if you have any physical sensations in your body. So maybe you feel your muscles relax, maybe your body starts to soften a little bit. Just see if you can stay connected to that feel-good sensation in your body. And take an inhale through your nose. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out the mouth. And then inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the nose. And then just reach your arms up by your ears. Give yourself a nice big stretch. And then just hook your knees in towards your chest. Take a gentle rock side to side. And then keep your knees bent. Just drop your feet down to the mat and walk the feet out wider than the hips. So they're at the long edges of the mat. And then just take your arms out to a T or cactus. Just let them relax. And then drop your knees over to the right. Bring them up to center and drop them to the left. So just starting to take this action at your own pace, just gently taking your knees side to side in this windshield wiper action. So as you're doing this, I'll just talk, just like we've been doing recently. I'm going to start to just layer in some different movements today. We have 3 new poses that you have to do for your assignment, but there will probably be some different movements. So just listen, watch, follow along. Don't worry about being perfect. Just be curious and explore. So next time your knees are over to the right, you're going to pause there in that twist. So feet are still at the long edges of the mat, knees are dropped to the right. If for some reason that's uncomfortable, you can just stack your left leg on your right leg. And then once your legs are set, maybe your left arm reaches up by your ear and just relaxes to the floor behind you. And just take a couple breaths right here, just feeling that length in the left side of the body. And then return your left arm either to a T or cactus. Draw your knees up through center and then drop them over to the left. And once they've landed, taking whatever shape you took on the first side with your legs, maybe that right arm goes by the ear and just relaxes to the floor. And just take a couple more breaths right here, feeling that stretch in the right side of the body. And then return your right arm to a T. Just bring your knees up to center. Keep the knees bent and just walk your feet hips distance apart. Take your arms down by your sides and spin your palms down. We've actually been doing this pose all semester, but it's one of your 3 poses for today. And I'll recap them at the end like I always do. But this is called bridge pose. So press into the feet, lift the hips, low back, mid back. So this is bridge with the hips elevated. I guess it kind of looks like a bridge, makes sense. And then just roll all the way back down. We'll take that movement with breath. So inhale, roll up into bridge, and exhale, roll down. Inhale, roll up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. And exhale, down. And then just hug your knees in towards your chest. You can rock straight up to seated, or you can just roll yourself off to the side so you can press up to a comfortable seat here. And then once you're seated, take your left hand, flip your palm up towards the ceiling, and then just tuck your left hand underneath you. So you're kind of sitting on that left hand. I know it sounds a little weird. And then take your right ear, tilt it to your right shoulder. And just feel that sensation in the left side of the neck. Keep the ear towards the shoulder, just spin the chin up towards the ceiling. Take a breath there. And then keep the ear towards the shoulder, spin the chin down towards your mat. And then just spin your chin back forward, bring your head up to neutral. You can untuck that left hand, just rest your hands in your lap and take some shoulder rolls up and back. And then just relax the shoulders, take the right hand, flip the palm up and tuck that hand underneath you. Take the left ear to the left shoulder. Just focus on your breath as you hold here. And then keep the ear towards the shoulder, spin the chin up towards the ceiling. And keep the ear towards the shoulder, spin the chin down towards the mat. And then just spin your chin back forward. Lift your head up to neutral. You can release that hand, bring the hands to the lap. Take shoulder rolls the opposite direction. And then just take your hands behind you, change the cross of the legs. So the opposite shin comes in front. I'm just gonna turn around so you can see my hands here. So interlace the hands behind your back so your knuckles are spinning towards your back. And then take your hands to the right. So maybe they come all the way to the right side of the waist or somewhere in that direction. And then take your right ear to your right shoulder. And then bring the head up to neutral. Take your hands over to the left side of the waist. Take your left ear towards your left shoulder. And then bring the head up to neutral. Just release the hands. And let's make our way up into tabletop. So come up to hands and knees. Stack your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. And we'll take some cat-cow here. So on your inhale, extend the chest forward, drop the belly. And on the exhale, press into the hands, curl the spine. Inhale, extend forward. Exhale, curl and round. Inhale, extend forward. Exhale, curl and round. And then just come back to a neutral spine. Bend your elbows so you can drop your forearms down to the mat. So your elbows are directly under your shoulders here. Same movement here, cat-cow. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward. Exhale, press into the hands and forearms round the spine. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, curl and round. Inhale, extend. And exhale, round. And then come back to a neutral spine. Just come back to the palms of the hands so you're back in tabletop. And then just pop onto your left fingertips. So you're kind of doming your left hand. And then walk the left fingertips over to the front right corner of the mat. So you're just reaching that left hand across your body. And then if you want, take your left hip crease towards your left heel, kind of like you're coming into a child's pose with your hips. And then you can drop your right forearm and bring that down. So you're kind of in this funky side bending child's pose. Take a couple of breaths right here. And then walk that left hand back, come back into tabletop. So your shoulders are over your wrists. Pop onto the right fingertips and walk the right fingertips to the front left corner of the mat. Draw your right hip crease back, maybe drop the left forearm. And then walk that right hand back so you're back in tabletop position. And then just bring your big toes together, sit back into child's pose. And just take a couple breaths here. And then come back up into tabletop. So shoulders come over the wrist. Just take your right foot and spin it to the right. So it'll probably come off your mat. You're making a little kickstand with your right shin. Keep your right palm planted and extend your left leg back behind you. Reach your left arm up. So you're on the right shin, left leg is back. And then once you're there, start to take some circles with your top arm. So reach the arm towards the ear, drop it down towards the mat and behind you and up. So just take some circles here, just getting movement, again, not worrying about perfection or exactly what you look like. And then take those circles the opposite way. And then reach that arm up towards the ceiling just to pause there. And then spin back into tabletop. Spin your left foot off to the left, so it's off the mat. Keep your left palm planted, extend your right leg back, right arm up this time. And then bring that right arm by the ear, start to make that circle down and around. Just at your own pace. And then opposite direction. And then reach that arm up towards the ceiling, spin back up into tabletop. And then just tuck your toes, lift your hips, come into downward facing dog. And just take a little bit of movement here. Maybe you pedal the feet, bending one leg, straightening the other. And then just find stillness here in this down dog. Come forward into plank so your shoulders come over your wrists. Drop your knees down to the mat, modified plank, and then lower all the way down to your belly. And then just stack your hands under your forehead. So you're making a little pillow for your forehead. You can rest your forehead down. I'm gonna keep my head up just so you guys can hear me. And then from here, press the tops of the feet down into the mat gently. And then just lift your right leg a couple inches off the mat. So it's not gonna be a very big movement. And then lower the right leg down. And then lift the left leg up. Lower it down. Lift the right leg up and lower. Left leg up and lower. Lift both legs up, just a couple inches, it's not very big. And then lower the legs down, draw the hands back by the sides of the rib cage, press through tabletop to downward facing dog. And then walk your feet forward to meet your hands, forward fold at the front of the mat. On your inhale, lift halfway, hands to shins or thighs. And exhale, fold back forward. Inhale, come all the way up to standing, reach up. And exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. We'll take a lunging sun salutation. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, right foot back for a lunge, right knee down to the mat. Inhale, arms by the ears, watch your palms touch overhead. Exhale, hands frame the foot, step back to downward facing dog. Take an inhale and down dog. And an exhale. Inhale your right leg up and back. Exhale the foot between the hands, back knee down. Inhale, arms up by the ears, watch your palms touch. Exhale, hands frame the foot, bring your back foot forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, cactus your arms, take a little back bend. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, left foot back for a lunge, left knee down to the mat. Inhale, arms up by the ears, watch your palms touch. Exhale, hands frame the foot, step back to downward facing dog. Take an inhale here, and an exhale. Inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, foot between the hands, back knee down. Inhale, arms up, watch your palms touch. Exhale, hands frame the foot, bring your back foot forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. And then just take your hands to your low back. So palms are to the low back, fingertips spinning down. Draw the elbows back towards each other. You can stay right there. You can imagine there's a string at the center of your chest, lifting your chest up towards the ceiling, maybe coming into a gentle back bend. So gaze can go up towards the ceiling, just really gently, if that feels okay on your neck. Otherwise, gaze will stay forward. You have one more breath here. And then just come back upright. Release your arms down by your sides. On an inhale, reach your arm up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, just step back to downward facing dog. Take your right leg up and back behind you. Bring the foot between the hands. Drop the back knee down. We're going to pause here. So you can keep those back toes tucked or you can untuck so you're on the top of that foot. It's just personal preference. I think it feels nice to have my toes tucked. And then focus on your breath. See if you're holding your breath. Can you find a slow, soft breath? And then bring your hands to the top of your right thigh and lift your torso. So shoulders will be over hips here. Reach your arms up by your ears and just hook your thumbs at the top. Reach up through the fingertips, take a side bend over to your right and pause. And then come back upright, release your thumbs. Take your hands down to frame your front foot. Tuck the back toes if they're not tucked. Lift the back knee. So you're in a lunge here with the back knee up. Lengthen your chest forward, take a twist to the right. Reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. And then bring your right hand down to frame your foot. Just step straight back to down dog. You have one breath there. And then take your left leg up and back. Bring the foot between the hands. Drop the back knee down. You can untuck the back toes if you want. And again, just holding here for a couple breaths. And then bring the hands to the top of the left thigh so you can lift your torso up. Take your arms up by your ears. Hook your thumbs at the top. Maybe the opposite thumb comes in front. And then take a side bend over to your left. And then come back upright, release the thumbs. Take your hands down to frame your front foot. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Lengthen your chest towards the front of the mat and take a twist to the left. Reach your left arm up. And then bring your left hand down to frame your foot. Step yourself back to downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. And then drop your knees, come into child's pose, and just take a moment to relax. I think I've been throwing maybe some different movements in, so you're really having to focus and pay attention this morning. But hopefully you've gotten the hang of being able to listen and follow along, and that's the way to be a great student of yoga. You don't have to be perfect in the way you move your body. All right, so you can come up to seated so you can look at your screen. I'm going to show you the second pose of the day. So this is called locust pose. So you can just watch and then we'll do it together. So we'll start on the belly. Arms just reach back by the sides and the palms will spin down towards the mat. And then once we have everything set, we'll just lift everything up. So head, shoulders, arms, and legs. So everything's elevated. This is locust. Try not to crank your neck and look way forward. I like to look kind of down in front of my mat. Just keeps your neck a little softer and more neutral. So I'm gonna lower down. You guys can make your way onto your belly. We'll just do this together. So find your way here to this prone position. Take your arms down by your sides, spin your palms down towards the mat, and then lift head, shoulders, arms, and legs, and don't strain yourself, just lift to whatever is comfortable, and then lower down. We'll do 2 more, so lift everything up into locust, and lower down. Last one, everything lifts, and lower down. And then just bring your hands next to the sides of your rib cage. Press yourself up through tabletop into downward facing dog. This is where if we were in the same room together, I would check in and see how you were doing. So I hope you're doing okay. If you're not, you can always take a break. All right, take your right leg up and back behind you. Bring the foot between the hands. Spin your back heel down. Come up to warrior 1. So arms by the ears facing the front of the mat. I feel like it's been a while since we've done warrior 1. Just pause here for a moment. Get yourself settled. Good. And then take your hands behind you. Interlace the fingers behind the back so you have a clasp here. You can stay upright right where you are. If you want, press into your back foot, lift your chest. Draw the belly up towards the spine and keep that as you hinge your torso forward to the inside of your right thigh. If you try that and you're like, that's not for me, I want to stay upright, go ahead. This is a little uncomfortable because your head's below your heart, so you really have to focus on your breath here. And then press into both feet, come back upright, reach your arms up by your ears, just pause here and settle. And then take your hands down, frame your front foot, just step back to downward facing dog. We'll go straight to the other side, left leg up and back. Foot between the hands, back heel down. Warrior 1, arms by the ears, torso spinning towards the front of the mat. Good. And then interlace the fingers behind the back. Maybe try and find the opposite pinky on top if you can remember what you did. And then again, now you know what's happening, so you can stay here if you want, or you can press into the back foot, draw the belly in, and hinge forward. Soft, smooth breath here. And then come back upright, reach your arms up by your ears, warrior 1, just settle for a moment. And then take your hands down to frame your front foot, step to down dog, and then just immediately drop your knees so you're in tabletop. On your inhale, lengthen your chest forward. Exhale, curl and round. 2 more rounds of cat-cow here. Inhale, extend. Exhale, round. Inhale, extend. And exhale, round. And then come back to neutral here. We're going to come into that same shape we took in the beginning. So take your right foot to the right. The right foot will be off the mat. Plant your right palm, extend your left leg back behind you. Reach your left arm up towards the ceiling. You can stay right here if you want. If you want to try it, you're going to lift your left leg up so it's parallel to the mat. And then maybe you try and bend your left knee, pull the heel towards the body, and reach back with your left hand for the top of the left foot. You have 2 breaths wherever you are. And then re-extend that leg out, reach the arm up, lower that foot down, and spin yourself back into tabletop. Once you're there, just wiggle your hips side to side. Give yourself a moment. And then come back to stillness and table. Spin your left foot to the left. Keep your left palm planted. Extend your right leg back, right arm up. You guys are experts now. And then you can stay there or lift that right leg parallel to the mat. And if you want, bend the right knee, reach back to the top of the foot with that right hand. And then re-extend the leg, reach the arm up. Lower the foot down to the mat and spin yourself back into tabletop. Walk your hands forward, one hand print, so you can come into modified plank by taking your hips forward. And then lower all the way down to the belly. So just listen carefully here because it's going to be hard to see me. So once you're on your belly, take your arms to a T shape. Keep your right arm exactly where it is. Just bend your left elbow and take your left hand under your shoulder. Press into that left hand so you can roll off to your right side. So your right arm is behind you in a T shape here. Your left leg can stack on your right leg straight, or you can bend that left knee and take the left foot behind your right leg. Head can just rest down on the mat. You can control the intensity. Less intense, roll back towards your belly. More intense, more onto the side. And then roll back onto your belly. Re-extend your left arm out into the T position. Bend your right elbow, take your right hand under the shoulder. Press into the right hand, roll off to your left side. Right leg can stack or that right knee can bend. And then roll back onto your belly. Extend your arms back by your side, spin the palms down. Let's take locust one more time. Lift head, shoulders, arms, and legs. And then lower everything down. Press up through tabletop so you can just come back to watch me again. So this is the 3rd pose of today. It's called bow pose, like a bow and arrow. Maybe you'll see what it looks like here and see that connection. I think this is one of the hardest poses we're going to do all semester, personally. It's accessible, but my body doesn't love it. So I'm just going to show it to you and then we'll do it together and you can see how you feel about it. So just like locust, we're going to start on the belly, but this time your legs are going to bend. You're going to reach back for the ankles or the tops of the feet. And then from there, you're going to think of pressing your feet and your ankles back behind you. So using the power of the legs to lift the head and the shoulders and the thighs too. It's very hard for me to talk in that position. So let's try it together. Come on to your belly. We'll meet there. And then once you're there, it's the same start as locust. So you can take your arms by your sides. For this one, bow pose, bend your knees. Reach back with the hands to find the tops of the feet or the ankles. And then press your ankles back to the back of the mat and lift your head and your shoulders. Pause there for a breath. And then release, lower everything down. So straighten your legs, arms can just relax. Turn your head to the right and let your left cheek rest on the mat. You're just completely relaxed here. Take a couple of breaths. Maybe you're like, I just don't know what happened right then. That's hard. It absolutely is hard. And then you decide, maybe you just stay right here. We're gonna do that one more time. If you wanna do it one more time, spin your head back forward, bend your knees, reach for the ankles or the tops of the feet. Press the ankles back behind you as you lift your head and your shoulders. And then take a breath here, hold it. And then release, extend the legs, let the arms relax. Turn your head to the left and rest your right cheek on the mat. And then just spin your head back to center like we did earlier. Stack the hands under the forehead, rest the forehead on the hands. And then bend the knees and windshield wiper your feet side to side. A little release of the low back. This always feels good for me after that pose. And then just re-extend the legs straight out behind you. Draw your hands back by the sides of the rib cage. Press yourself up to tabletop and wiggle your hips side to side. And then we're gonna take cat-cow again, but really, really gentle, small movement here. So really gently inhale, lengthen the chest forward. It might be like a half version of your cow pose. And then exhale, curl the spine, maybe just like a gentle version of cat. Inhale, nice and easy, lengthen the chest, no forcing. And exhale, curl and round. One more time, inhale, really soft drop of the belly. And exhale, gentle push of the hands as you curl up. And then come back to neutral, bring your big toes together, sit your hips back for child's pose. Maybe in this child's pose, your arms reach back towards your feet. Maybe the hands reach for the heels. And if you reach your arms back, just extend them forward. Make your way up into tabletop. So you can just come back to seated. Once you're seated, take your legs out straight and wide so you're in a straddle position. And then take your fingertips in front of you. You decide if you walk your hands forward and gently fold forward. So some of you may be on forearms. Somebody said they bought a block. I can't remember if it was this class or my other class. If you have a block, you can take it on the tallest setting, maybe rest your forehead on it if it reaches. And then you just have a little bit of time here to breathe. So close your eyes. Just to yourself, just say inhale and exhale. Say that to yourself several more rounds, just keeping the focus on the breath. And then slowly start to walk your hands back, lift your chest. And just come into a comfortable cross-leg position here. Take your arms out to a T, cross your right arm on top of your left arm so you're giving yourself a hug. Close your eyes. Maybe you stay there. Maybe you bring the backs of your hands together. Maybe you wrap the wrist and bring your palms together. And just unwind the arms, rest the hands on the knees, just pause here, close your eyes. So you're not moving, your spine is in this neutral position where your shoulders are stacked over your hips. And maybe you keep your eyes closed if you're comfortable. Same thing, second side, arms to a T, cross your left arm on top of your right arm, give yourself that hug. See if you can relax the muscles in the face and the jaw. For me, sometimes just a little soft smile helps me to do that. And then maybe you bring the backs of the hands together or wrap the wrists and bring the palms together. And then just unwind the arms, take the hands to the top of the knees. Close your eyes again if they're not closed and just pause there in stillness. And maybe you keep your eyes closed. Just make your way onto your back. We'll meet on the back with the knees hugged in towards the chest. Just pause with the knees hugged in and stay still. A lot of times we move here. Sometimes it's nice just to be still in the shape. And then keep your right knee hugged in. Extend your left leg straight onto the mat. And we'll just hold here. As always, if having that left leg straight feels like it's pulling too much, bend the left knee, sole of the left foot flat to the mat. We're just starting to unwind. We're going to hold these shapes slightly longer. So see if you can allow yourself to unwind and to be okay in quiet and stillness. Like keep the right knee hugged in. Just take your right arm to either a T or a cactus, whatever you have space for. And then take your right leg across the body over to the left. So you're coming into a twist here. I like to take my left hand to the outside of my right thigh. You can decide what works for you. So you're just gently rolled off to your left side and then letting your right shoulder drop back towards the mat. And then just draw your right leg back through center with that knee hugged in. Bring your left knee to meet your right knee. So both knees are hugged into the chest, and just pause for a moment and notice how the right and left sides of the body feel. So maybe the right and left sides of the rib cage or the waist, maybe the backs of the legs. And then keep your left knee hugged in, extend your right leg out onto the mat. Again, holding here. And keep the left knee hugged in. Just take your left arm to a T or cactus. Draw that leg across the body so it goes over to the right. Just rolling a little to the right side, letting the left shoulder drop back towards the mat. And then just draw that leg back up to center and have both knees into the chest. Take a gentle rock side to side. And then just slowly release your legs and come into your Shavasana or corpse pose. Maybe your legs are bent or straight, arms can just be wherever is most comfortable for you. You may want to grab a blanket or put on long sleeves as you settle in here. Maybe you have to wiggle around a little bit just to find a place where you get comfortable and you can be completely still. And then just come back to that thing you thought of at the beginning of class, something that you do often that makes you happy. And as you think about that, again, see if you notice any physical sensations that come along with that. Maybe a softening of the face or the chest or the shoulders, the belly. Notice what it feels like to cultivate that sense of happiness from maybe something that you do that's pretty small. And then just allow yourself to settle in here. Just a little bit longer of silence. See if you can just soak in this time of rejuvenation. Just start to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Circle your ankles and your wrists. Reach your arms by your ears, roll off to one side. Pause on your side with your eyes closed. I like this quote today. It feels very appropriate for this year. It says, "You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." Press into your top hand, make your way up to a comfortable seat, eyes closed, hands at the heart. I know this year has felt like an emotional roller coaster, and it has for me. I assume it has for you guys too. So cultivating gratitude, even in the small things you do every day, is really helpful. I hope you can continue to find joy in the small things. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. All right, so let me get to everyone here. I'm going to type the 3 poses in here. So we have bridge, locust, and bow. So just a quick recap, because I know 3 is more, it's probably the most we've ever done here. But we've done bridge before, so hopefully this one is sort of a refresher. So again, don't worry about being perfect. I just want to know that you have the general idea of the shape here. So bridge pose, knees are bent. You can take your arms by your sides and you'll just lift your hips. So that's bridge. And then you have to get onto your belly. It might not be pretty, so just make your way onto your belly. And then for locust, arms are down by the sides. Everything lifts up, head, shoulders, arms, and legs. So this is locust. And then you can just lower everything down, bend your knees, reach for the ankles and the tops of the feet, and come into bow pose. And I'm just not feeling this pose today, so if I were doing the video, I would probably be here. If you want to go ahead and lift up, you can. But just make sure you're not forcing your body into something it doesn't want to do. Just want to know you have the general sense of the pose. So if you have any questions, I know that's more than we usually do, feel free to stay on and ask. Otherwise, you can go ahead and go enjoy the rest of your day. And please, please, please be safe next week, whatever you do. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye. I like the thumbs up. Thanks, Stephanie.